My name is Danielle Moore. I'm 36 years old, and until a random Thursday afternoon, I believed I had a stable, boring, grown-up relationship. Not passionate movie love, not chaos, just steady. That illusion collapsed because of a single text message. I was sitting at my desk at work, half listening to a budget review meeting, pretending to care about projected numbers for a department I don't even manage. My phone buzzed once. Not urgent, not repeated. Just casual. Hey babe, conference is going amazing. They added extra workshops for top performers, extending till Sunday. Don't wait up. Love you. It was from Evan, my boyfriend of 7 years. He was supposed to be at a 3-day industry conference for medical device sales reps, something he'd been talking about for weeks. He left Tuesday morning with a new blazer, his laptop bag, and that overly rehearsed enthusiasm people get when they want credit for doing the bare minimum. Networking, panels, breakout sessions, the usual buzzwords. I stared at the text longer than I should have. Not because of the words themselves, but because of the tone. Too smooth, too polished, like it had been written already. I was typing back, "Congrats, that's awesome," when my phone rang. The name on the caller ID made my stomach tighten in a way I didn't fully understand yet. Mason Reynolds, Evan's direct supervisor. I answered. "Hi, this is Danielle." "Hey, Danielle, this is Mason. Sorry to bother you. I just wanted to check in. Is Evan feeling any better?" I leaned back in my chair slowly. "Better from—" There was a pause on the line. "The stomach bug. He called out sick for the conference. We were just concerned. It's a mandatory event, and missing it affects quarterly evaluations." For about 10 seconds, I didn't speak. Not because I was shocked. Because my brain was rearranging reality. The room didn't spin. My heart didn't race. There was no dramatic, oh my god moment. Just quiet recalibration. "Oh," I finally said. "Thanks for letting me know." Mason hesitated. "Is he okay?" "He's fine," I replied evenly. "I'll make sure he understands the impact." "Appreciate it," he said. "Have a good day." I ended the call and looked back at Evan's text. "Conference is going amazing. Love you." The lie hadn't stuttered. It hadn't tripped over itself. It had flowed. That scared me more than anger ever could. I opened our shared credit card app. There it was. Rosewood Hotel, 2 nights, pending. 40 minutes from our house. The conference hotel Evan had shown me in his email confirmation was 3 states away. I didn't cry. I didn't throw my phone. I didn't even feel rage. What I felt was something colder. The moment when a puzzle piece finally clicks and you realize the picture isn't what you thought it was. I opened Find My iPhone. He'd forgotten I set it up last year when he lost his phone at the mall and panicked for 6 hours. A blinking dot. Rosewood Hotel. Here's the thing about Evan. He always thought he was smarter than everyone else. Confident people get sloppy. They assume no one's paying attention. I sat there listening to my coworkers talk about quarterly margins, while my entire relationship quietly reorganized itself in my head. 7 years together. No kids. His decision, not mine. My house. My accounts. His insistence on a prenup back when he made more money. I typed one message, then deleted it. Then I made a call. "Lena," I said when my older sister picked up. "Hypothetical question." She sighed. "It's never hypothetical. If someone wanted to end a relationship cleanly, legally, based on infidelity, how fast could that happen?" There was a pause. "Danielle," she said carefully, "what did he do?" "He's at a hotel 40 minutes away while telling me and his boss he's in 2 different states." Silence. "I'll clear my evening," she said. "Come by after work." I looked once more at Evan's text. "Love you." I didn't respond. For the first time in 7 years, I didn't feel like his partner. I felt like a witness. And witnesses don't interfere. They document. I left work early without telling anyone why. Not because I was spiraling, but because I needed silence. Real silence. The kind where your own thoughts don't have to compete with emails, meetings, or someone asking if you're okay before you've decided whether you are. By the time I pulled into Lena's driveway, my sister was already waiting. Front door open, laptop out, legal pads stacked like she'd been preparing for a storm. She didn't hug me, didn't ask how I felt, didn't soften it. That's why she's a good attorney. "Start from the beginning," she said. So I did. The text, the call, the Rosewood charge, the blinking dot on my phone that said my boyfriend wasn't where he claimed to be, not even close. She didn't interrupt once. When I finished, she closed her laptop slowly and said, "Okay, this isn't messy. That's good." I let out a breath I didn't realize I'd been holding. "Good?" "Yes," she said. "Messy cases are emotional. Yours is clean. He lied, repeatedly. There's documentation, and you're not financially entangled." That word again. Clean. It felt strange to describe a 7-year relationship that way, But she was right. Once you strip away the illusion, what's left is paperwork. Do you want to confront him? She asked. I shook my head immediately. No, I don't want explanations. I want facts. She nodded. Then let's collect them. We started with the credit card statement. Not just the rosewood, but past charges, patterns, restaurants, bars, weekend hotel holds that had been explained away as work dinners or late client meetings. Then location data. Evan hadn't just been sloppy once, he'd been lazy for months. Lena leaned back in her chair. Do you know who he's with? I swallowed. Not yet. We'll find out, she said calmly. But here's what matters first. This house is yours. Bought before him. Deed in your name only. His name isn't anywhere on it. What about shared accounts? Minimal balance. You can freeze them tonight. She slid a document across the table. A draft separation agreement. Simple, direct, brutally unemotional. He keeps what's his. You keep what's yours. No support requested, no drama. I stared at it. 7 years reduced to 5 pages. Do you think he'll fight this? I asked. Lena gave me a look that said she'd already thought 10 steps ahead. He'll bluff first, then panic, then threaten, then bargain. That's the order. And if he lies? She smiled faintly. Then we let him. That night I went home, not to confront Evan, but to inventory him. I walked through the house with a notebook, room by room. His clothes, his work equipment, his gym gear that somehow always smelled new, the framed photos of his family that decorated my walls. I didn't touch my things. Just his. I packed everything neatly. Not angrily, not carelessly, almost respectfully. Because anger gives people a story to tell. I wasn't interested in being a villain in his rewrite. By midnight, his life was boxed and stacked in the garage. Labeled, organized. I left his laptop charger exactly where it belonged. Then I printed the paperwork, placed it on the kitchen counter, added a single sticky note. We need to talk. Call Lena. I took my overnight bag and left. No note explaining myself, no confrontation, no accusations. Let him come home to silence. Let him sit with it. At 11:07 p.m., my phone lit up. Evan. I didn't answer. At 11:19, 11:34, 12:02. Then texts. Why aren't you answering? Danielle, this isn't funny. Please call me. I'm worried. At 1:11 a.m., one final message. I'm driving home now. The conference had magically ended early. Funny how emergencies do that. I muted the thread and lay down in my sister's guest room, staring at the ceiling. Not crying, not shaking. Just thinking about how easy it had been for him to lie. How natural, and how quickly the truth had caught up. Evan came home just after 2 in the morning. I know this not because I was there, but because my phone exploded 5 minutes later. Incoming calls, missed calls, texts stacking on top of each other so fast my lock screen couldn't keep up. I didn't read them. Not yet. Silence is only powerful when you maintain it. At 2:17 a.m., my sister's landline rang. Yes, Lena still has one. She says clients lie less when they hear a dial tone instead of a ringtone. Her husband answered. I heard the entire thing from the hallway. Hello? A woman's voice, already frayed. Hi. Is Danielle there? This is Evan, her boyfriend. No, he said calmly. She's asleep. What do you mean asleep? It's an emergency. She asked not to be disturbed. A pause, then anger, rising fast. She can't just disappear like this. That's illegal. Lena's husband sighed, the long, patient sigh of someone married to a lawyer. The paperwork on your kitchen counter suggests otherwise. Good night. Click. Lena looked at me from across the room. Stage 2, she said. Anger. Friday morning, I woke up to 91 unread messages. 91. They followed a predictable arc. Denial. This is a misunderstanding. My boss messed up. You know conferences change schedules. Blame. You didn't even ask me. You always assume the worst. Guilt. I can't believe you'd throw away 7 years without talking to me. Threats. That house is basically ours. We're common law at this point. That's when I finally responded. One message. The deed says otherwise. Please direct all communication to Lena. His reply came instantly. You're serious? Yes. Painfully. He showed up at my parents' house that afternoon. My mother called me in tears. Danielle, honey, Evan's here. He says you misunderstood something about a conference. I closed my eyes. Mom, I said gently. He was at a hotel with another woman while telling me and his employer 2 different lies. A pause. Oh, she said. Should I still offer him coffee? That's up to you. She gave him water. Listened for exactly 5 minutes. Then said, I'm sorry this is happening, but you should probably leave now. Apparently he didn't like that. So he escalated. He went to my office. Security called me down. There's a man here claiming to be your partner, the guard said. He's emotional. He's my ex, I replied. Please don't let him in. He says it's urgent. Unless he's bleeding, it can wait. They turned him away. He stood outside the building for almost 2 hours. My coworkers sent pictures. He looked small, confused, on his phone constantly, probably trying to figure out which version of the story would work next. That night, the threats started. If you don't talk to me, I'll tell people what you're really like. You emotionally abandoned me. You controlled everything. I forwarded everything to Lena. She replied with a thumbs up emoji. Then, let him talk. Evidence loves loud people. Saturday evening, my phone rang from an unknown number. Danielle? A woman asked cautiously. Yes. My name is Rachel. I think we need to talk. My stomach dropped. Not from fear, but recognition. She was the woman. I'm Evan's girlfriend, she said softly. Or at least I thought I was. I exhaled slowly. Coffee tomorrow? I asked. Yes, she said. I have a lot to show you. For the first time since Thursday, something flickered in my chest. Not pain. Not anger. Relief. Because lies don't survive witnesses. I met Rachel Sunday morning at a quiet cafe across town. Neutral ground. No history attached. She arrived 10 minutes early. Already seated. Posture stiff. Eyes alert. Like someone bracing for a confrontation rather than seeking comfort. She didn't touch her coffee. Just watched the door. The first thing she said wasn't an apology. He told me you two were basically done. Of course he did. She slid her phone across the table. Receipts, screenshots, hotel confirmations. Not just the Rosewood. Dates going back 6 months. He'd told her I was distant. Cold. That I cared more about control than connection. That we lived separate lives. He said you were manipulative, she added carefully. That everything had to be your way. I didn't react emotionally. Just nodded once. I never controlled his money, I said. We split expenses. He insisted on separate accounts. Her jaw tightened. He told me you monitored him. I turned my phone toward her. Shared card, groceries, emergencies. She stared at the screen longer than necessary. Then she said, he told me he was a senior manager. He isn't. He said he owned your house. I let out a short breath through my nose. Not laughter. Recognition. We sat quietly, comparing details. Same pattern. Different scripts. One man adjusting his story based on who was listening. Rachel broke the silence. He didn't talk about feelings with me, just complaints, about being unappreciated, disrespected. That tracked. By Monday, Evan lost his job. Not for the affair. Companies don't care about that. For lying about being sick and skipping a mandatory conference. 3 coworkers had spotted him out while he was supposedly bedridden. HR documented it. He applied for unemployment. Denied. That night, he showed up at Lena's house with his sister. Not crying, not apologizing. Angry, loud, demanding. They banged on the door, talking about rights and fairness. When the police arrived, Evan claimed I'd locked him out of his own house. The officers asked for documentation. He had none. His sister tried to record everything quietly from her phone, dropped it, cracked the screen, then demanded compensation. Lena handed her a business card. File a claim, she said, through proper channels. 2 days later, my bank called. Someone attempted to access my accounts. Correct personal data, wrong security answers. Fraud attempt. A felony. By the end of the week, Evan pivoted strategies. He didn't beg. He didn't apologize. He went public. A blog appeared. Long posts reframing himself as misunderstood, pressured, forced into distance by an emotionally unavailable partner. No vulnerability, just justification. Rachel sent screenshots. He's rewriting everything, she wrote. I didn't reply. Because men like Evan don't unravel through emotion. They unravel when their control narrative stops working. By Monday morning, Evan stopped pretending this was a misunderstanding. He moved straight into damage control. The text changed tone, shorter, sharper. You're blowing this out of proportion. You're making me look bad. We need to handle this like adults. That last one almost made me smile. Adults don't lie to their employers. They don't maintain 2 realities at once and hope neither compares notes. When I didn't respond, Evan widened the circle. He called my parents again. Not emotional this time, but controlled, rehearsed. According to my mother, he sat stiffly at the kitchen table, back straight, voice low. No tears, no breakdown, just indignation. She's overreacting, he said. This didn't have to get legal. My father listened quietly, then asked one question. Were you at a hotel with another woman? Evan didn't answer right away. That pause told them everything. My parents didn't yell. They didn't console him either. They thanked him for coming by and walked him to the door. That same afternoon, Evan escalated. He showed up at my office again. This time he didn't plead. He argued. Security called me. He says you're refusing to communicate and it's affecting shared assets. There are no shared assets, Prumkis, I replied. Please remove him. When they escorted him out, he didn't resist. He didn't cause a scene. He just stared at the building for a long moment, calculating. That night, the threats arrived. Not dramatic, not emotional. Strategic. If you keep ignoring me, I'll tell people how you treated me. You think everyone will take your side? You controlled the narrative for years. Now it's my turn. I forwarded everything to Lena. She replied, Good. He's documenting his own harassment. Evan didn't post immediately. Men like him don't lash out impulsively. They wait until they think they've found leverage. Wednesday, my boss called me into his office. Danielle, he said carefully, someone left a voicemail claiming to be a concerned party in a domestic dispute. I handed him a folder. Divorce paperwork, hotel receipts, the fraud attempt report, the messages. He reviewed it silently. Then he looked up and said, We'll block the number. If anyone shows up, security will handle it. Evan tried a different angle. He contacted mutual friends, not crying, not confessing, planting doubt. She's always been cold. She cut me off without warning. She cares more about winning than fixing things. Most people didn't respond. A few reached out to me. I told them the truth, calmly, once. Those who mattered understood. The rest didn't need convincing. Friday afternoon, Evan finally broke his silence publicly. Not with an apology, with a story. A carefully worded post about finding clarity during time apart, about choosing peace over control, about being forced to walk away from an unhealthy dynamic. No tears, no accountability, just reputation management. Rachel sent me a screenshot with one line underneath. He's trying to look composed. He's furious you won't engage. She was right. Evan didn't want me back. He wanted control back. And the thing about control, once it's gone, there's nothing left to negotiate. I didn't see Rachel again. I didn't need to. The truth stopped requiring meetings and started arriving on its own. Late Sunday night, my phone buzzed. A message from Rachel. He contacted me again. No emotion, no commentary. Just information. She sent screenshots. Not apologies, not confusion. Instructions. Evan telling her they needed to stay aligned, that it was important they present a consistent version, that my behavior had been unstable and could complicate things. Complicate. That word stuck with me. It wasn't regret talking, it was strategy. Rachel followed with another message. He said you're trying to destroy his career. I stared at the screen longer than I should have, because that was new. Evan wasn't just lying anymore. He was assigning motive. Control doesn't disappear when it's challenged. It looks for leverage. Another screenshot came through. Evan to a friend. She's escalating. I need to contain this before it spreads. Contain. As if I was a situation to be managed. I forwarded everything to Lena. Her reply was immediate. Good, that's intent. Keep everything. Monday morning, Evan tried a different approach. An email landed in my inbox. Subject. Let's keep this between us. Short, measured. Lawyers aren't necessary. This can be resolved privately. Dragging others into this only makes things worse. I didn't respond. Silence isn't passive to men like Evan. It's destabilizing. That afternoon, Rachel messaged again. He came by my place, calm, direct. Told me it would be better for everyone if I stopped communicating with you. Not a request, a directive. Rachel handled it cleanly. She told him to leave. He did. No argument, no pleading. Just irritation wrapped in restraint. Men like Evan don't explode when they lose control. They tighten. And tightening only works until the pressure exceeds the grip. By the end of that day, Evan's story no longer belonged to him. It was documented, time-stamped, forwarded. And from that point on, I didn't have to respond. The system would do it for me. By Tuesday, Evan stopped trying to manage the narrative quietly, because quiet control had failed. That was the day my bank called. Not casually, not with a customer service tone. Formally. Ms. Moore, the representative said, we're calling to inform you that there was an attempted access on your primary accounts this morning. I didn't interrupt. They had your social security number, your date of birth, but they failed the security questions. My grip tightened around the phone. Was any money moved? I asked. No, she said. The attempt was blocked. We've frozen access temporarily and flagged it as suspected fraud. Fraud. Not a misunderstanding, not a mistake. A choice. I thanked her, hung up, and forwarded the alert to Lena. She didn't call. She emailed. This just crossed into criminal exposure. Less than an hour later, Evan texted. Not an apology, not denial. A probe. Did something happen with the bank? That told me everything. He wasn't checking on me. He was checking the damage. I didn't respond. That evening, Evan's family entered the picture. His sister texted first. Not angry, not sympathetic. Practical. He's not doing well. You don't need to take this any further. As if I was dragging him somewhere. As if consequences required my participation. I ignored it. An hour later, his mother tried. Voicemail. Her voice was tight, controlled, almost polite, the kind of tone people use when they believe they still have moral authority. You've made your point, she said. There's no need to destroy his future. Destroy. Interesting word choice. Evan destroyed his future when he decided lying was easier than honesty. By Wednesday morning, things accelerated. Evan showed up at Lena's house again. Not drunk this time. Not emotional. Angry, but measured. He demanded to speak to me. Lena didn't let him inside. When he claimed I was withholding property, she asked for proof. He had none. When he raised his voice, she ended the conversation. When he refused to leave, she called the police. Again. This time, his sister attempted to film the interaction discreetly. She dropped her phone. The screen shattered. She demanded compensation. Lena handed her a business card. Take it up legally, she said. That phrase seemed to short-circuit them, because legality was the one arena Evan could no longer control. Thursday, Evan's blog changed tone. The calm justification disappeared. In its place, accusation. Posts about betrayal, about character assassination, about being financially sabotaged. Still no apology. Still no accountability. Just escalation. Rachel texted me once that night. He called me again, told me you're dangerous. That word again. Dangerous. Men use it when they can't predict you anymore. By Friday, Evan's job situation finalized. Termination upheld, unemployment denied. The reason was documented clearly. Misconduct. That afternoon, someone tried again to access my accounts. Same personal data. Same failure. The bank escalated it to law enforcement. I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt distance, like watching something burn far enough away that the heat never reaches you. Evan didn't contact me after that, not because he was done, but because the system had started answering for me. And systems don't argue. They don't negotiate. They just close in. The courthouse was quiet in a way that felt deliberate. Not peaceful, controlled. The kind of place where emotion doesn't get the last word. Evan arrived 10 minutes late. Not rushed, not apologetic. He wore a crisp jacket, posture straight, jaw tight. The look of a man who still believed presentation could override record. He didn't look at me when he sat down. Didn't nod. Didn't acknowledge. Control, even in silence. His attorney spoke first. Not aggressively, not emotionally. They framed Evan as a man who had been pushed out of a long-term relationship, who had been emotionally shut out, who had sought space during a difficult period. Not a single denial, just reframing. Then Lena stood. She didn't raise her voice, didn't dramatize. She laid out facts like inventory, hotel charges, location records, employment documentation, fraud reports, police call logs, witness statements. Timeline over tone. The judge, a woman in her early 60s, listened without interruption. When Evan's attorney finished rebutting, she asked one question. Mr. Carter, she said evenly, were you at a hotel with another woman while telling your employer you were sick and your partner you were at a conference? Evan hesitated. Not long. Just long enough. Yes, he said, but... The judge raised a hand. No explanation is required, she said. Only accuracy. She turned to the fraud report. Did you attempt to access accounts not solely in your name? Another pause. Yes. This time there was no follow-up. No performance. Just record. The ruling was swift. Separation upheld. Asset division confirmed. Legal fees awarded to me. Evan sat still. Not shocked, not devastated. Contained. Outside the courthouse, his mother started speaking immediately, words spilling fast, loud, indignant. Evan stopped her. Enough, he said quietly. She froze. That was the first real crack I'd seen. He turned to me then. You got what you wanted, he said. I met his eyes. I wanted honesty, I replied. This was the alternative. He didn't respond, because there was nothing left to control. The doors closed behind us, and with them, every version of the story he'd tried to sell. After the courthouse, life didn't explode into relief. It settled, quietly. The first thing I noticed was the silence in my house. Not empty, just unoccupied. No tension hanging in the air. No calculations before speaking. No background noise of someone else's expectations. Evan moved out officially within the week. He didn't try to take anything that wasn't his. Didn't argue. Didn't linger. Control had failed him everywhere else. He wasn't going to lose face by dragging it out here. Word traveled fast after that. Not gossip, not rumor. Facts. His former company quietly filled his position. The blog went inactive. No dramatic farewell post, just silence. Mutual friends stopped asking me questions because the answers were already obvious. Rachel texted once more. He stopped contacting me. I think he finally understands there's nothing left to manage. I wished her well, and meant it. Evan's family faded from my orbit too. No more voicemails, no more pressure disguised as concern. Consequences have a way of clarifying loyalties. A month later, my bank confirmed the fraud investigation was closed. Charges documented, warnings issued. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt finished. Work improved. Not because I tried harder, but because distraction disappeared. My boss told me he respected how I handled everything without turning it into a spectacle. That mattered. Not because I needed validation, but because integrity leaves a trace. I started seeing someone new eventually. Nothing dramatic. No grand declarations. Just a man who didn't need to be managed, explained, or monitored. The contrast was immediate. One night, as we cooked dinner, he asked casually, "What happened with your last relationship?" I told him the truth. He listened, then said, "That sounds exhausting." It was. The last message I ever received from Evan came months later. One line. "For what it's worth, I did care about you." I read it once, then replied, "Noted," and blocked the number. Because here's the thing, no one tells you about betrayal. It doesn't always feel like heartbreak. Sometimes it feels like clarity. Sometimes it feels like realizing you were carrying someone else's weight and setting it down. And sometimes it feels like walking back into your own life without having to explain yourself. Life goes on, quietly, cleanly, honestly. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them. The first time,